your chance and then you blew it.
That is the most absurd statement of the year.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, baby.
I'm in my zone, I'm feeling it.
Live from West St. Paul Studios, it's time for MinneZona Sports Live with DJ Matty C and Paul the Shield Vold.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. Yes, we are back. Oh my goodness, we're back. Yes, episode 249. 1 week hiatus. We're back. We're ready to roll. Oh my goodness, and it feels good to be back, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Without further ado, I'm your host, DJ Matty C, a.k.a. Matt Callahan, a.k.a. Callie, a.k.a. Matty C, etc., etc., etc. And all the way in Granite City Studios in St. Cloud, Minnesota, Paul Voldy. Shield, what's going on there? Shield.
You know, one thing to take a little bit of advice of from myself, if one of your coworkers at work says, hey, you like spicy stuff, here's a pepper I grew in my garden. It's a serrano pepper, and you eat the whole thing, you're probably not going to feel good for the next little while. And up until about, maybe 2-3 hours ago, I was fighting through it, like fighting for my life. So note to self, don't eat peppers on the whole hog. Maybe take the seeds out next time, or just don't eat it to begin with. I mean, I like spicy food, but
sure,
I don't know what I was thinking eating a whole pepper just casually at lunch. And now I'm going to be paying for it here in about 2 or 3 hours in the bathroom, one way or another.
Well, there's that. That's one way to start the show. And
yes, it is. So, Matt, how are your bowel movements as of late?
Well, you know, maybe this should be a health show. Yeah. No, we won't go into detail. Yeah. We got a lot to talk about it being off for a week, and the thing is that there's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of frustration right now if you are a Minnesota Twins fans. But guys, we do have breaking news to start off this show. So without further ado, the Minnesota Vikings have traded Harrison Phillips to the New York Jets. A shocking move going on here right now. The Minnesota Vikings, yes, have traded Harrison Phillips. It sounds like the Vikings are very happy with who they have in the middle now, with Hargrave, Allen, and what they have behind him as well. Elijah Williams is another guy who is, we'll talk more about that here, who has kind of been an upstart here these past few weeks in the preseason. The Vikings give the New York Jets 2026 sixth-round pick, a 2027 sixth-round selection, and the Jets are receiving a 2027 seventh-round pick in the deal. And that was reported by our guy, Tommy P. That is Tom Pelissero.
Yes,
well done, Tommy P, on the report. Just quick reaction before we get into our who we're going to add to our MinneZona Listener Fantasy Football League. Yes,
sir.
It's happening. We've got 3 guys that are willing to hop in and join our league, and we'll get the wheel of names. We'll get it rolling here in a second. But Voldy, your first thoughts here on Harrison Phillips being traded to the New York Jets?
I mean, I think we're at a point here, especially with the guys that we brought in, of course, with Jonathan Allen, with Hargraves as well, to at least make a decision, okay, somebody has to be the odd man out in this situation. Of course, you do have some of those other guys, Elijah Williams, like you brought up, and also Jalen Redmond as well, who was a very nice surprise piece the last year plus for the Vikings, at least filling in a couple of spots in some tough situations for him. But I feel like the stock was only going to get so much higher for Harrison Phillips with his time here in Minnesota. Yes, he had a few nice years, mainly known more as a run stuffer, not really a go get the quarterback kind of defensive tackle on top of it. But when you're playing in the middle at the nose tackle, D tackle position, you are a bit more of a run stuffer on top of it, and take him to a team at least where they're going to need a little bit of help on the defensive line, while also getting some draft capital out of it, because we know that the Vikings kind of, threw some picks here and there during this year's draft to at least stock up for the future, at least hopefully. Now at least getting a little bit more on top of it. I feel okay with the trade. It kind of stinks right off the bat, but looking long term, I think this is a good move here by the Vikings.
I agree, Voldy. I think with Phillips, he's a guy that, like you said, more of a run stuffer, not a guy that's going to get after the quarterback as much. But he was kind of that vocal leader that you really wanted. The one thing about him is that he was great in the community, and it seems like he was very involved.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, the NFL is a business, and it's not. It's nothing against Jonathan or Harrison Phillips. Sorry, I was thinking Grenard for a second there. But to be honest, it just kind of shows like, okay, this has come down to the Vikings having that faith in this defensive line, and this defensive line is going to be very good. And that's kind of the main thing. That's really what I got for it. And I don't, necessarily think that this is going to be a situation where we'll miss him. He's a vocal leader. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But, it's something to keep an eye on here these next few weeks, just to see, if Hargrave and those guys can keep, or Hargrave and Allen are, good to go. So anyway,
right.
Just wanted to address that. Hunt says this trade is set up for another trade in the next couple days, which will be a wide receiver. Exactly. More on that in a little bit. So, with that being said, Voldy, I say we get it going with who is going to be the 12th member of the MinneZona Listener League. Yes, class.
Oh, baby.
So, Voldy, here's the deal.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
This is how we're going to do this. We have 3 names, and those 3 people are your brother, DJ Vold.
Yep.
Friend of the show and tunes in here and there. Unfortunately, he is playing D&D right now. Don't know why he's doing that. Not watching our show, but
Busy man.
Easy A, Andrew Austin. And that Ricky Rubio lover, Cole Munson. Yes.
Yep.
They will be vying for a spot in the Listener League. We will be setting up a date to try and get the draft going. Everyone get rolling. And $20 buy-in. Let us know. We will take care of that for you. So, with that being said, Voldy, I say we get it going here. So, I'm going to share the screen here.
Share that screen. Ooh.
Yeah. So, I think people can see it. I'm going to double-check on our...
I can see it.
That's
got to mean something.
Hey, here we go, Voldy. If DJ doesn't win the spot, he can take my spot. Apparently, Huntley's saying if DJ doesn't win, he's take his spot. All right, it is showing on the live stream. People can see it. We are very happy that you can see it. This is what we got. Cole Munson, Andrew Austin, DJ Vold. This is how we're doing it, guys. We'll roll it once, but whoever is selected will be eliminated. So just be aware of that, But that doesn't mean that they won't have another chance at this, because someone could drop out. You never know. So, all right, let's spin that wheel, Voldy. And
spin it.
Bow.
Big bucks, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies.
Oh my God!
What's it?
Wow! Oh my gosh! I can't believe Cole's probably punching air right now. He's probably like, "This is BS, man."
Boy, if I
Absolute
didn't have to
BS.
go to the bathroom then, and I don't have to go ever again. Goodness
Yeah.
gracious.
Wow, that was close. Like DJ was that close. of
My heart
not
rate's going
making it.
faster than when I ate that pepper at lunchtime today. Golly.
Oh, well said. Oh, here we go. Sorry.
Big
Yep.
bucks, no whammies.
The winner
no
is going to
whammies.
be DJ Vold.
Yeah.
Yes. Congratulations.
Huge.
DJ Vold is the 12th member. He came close last year.
Yep.
So congrats to our guy, DJ Vold. Welcome to the league. We will get your email and send you that invite. So easy, sucks to suck. Too bad. So sad.
So sad.
But yes. Oh, by the way, Vikings fan page. Make sure you check that out too. I gotta find what screen I'm on. There we go. We're back.
Hey,
So,
here we are.
yeah, that's what we got, man. We got our guy, DJ Vold. He will be joining the league, so this is going to be fun. Looking forward to having him join. Jared Doyle says, hopefully it's easy. Definition of easy money. Good one, Jared. I like that. Well, unfortunately, Easy has not joined, but at the same time, you know what? We'll keep them guessing. You never know. Someone could drop out. Someone could be like, hey, we're done here. So that's what we got. That's our 12th spot. Congratulations to DJ. Voldy, we should probably get going on what the hell we're doing tonight. Yes, you went to the Twins game this past weekend. We are talking about the big news from this past week. Those damn pohlads strike again. Is a rant incoming? Well, I've done enough rants. There will be some things that I might get a little heated on, but I'm not going to go full, pissed off, because it doesn't surprise me at this point. Vikings, giving some assessments of the preseason. We're also going to be talking about our thoughts on the possibility of Adam Thielen coming back. We shall see. Don't know who it might be, but we'll keep an eye on that. It might even happen during the show. Who knows? Harrison-Phillips, the whole deal. And then, Virtues tonight. Voldy, it's that time of the year. You did this last year. You're doing it again this year. Your division champions for the 2025 NFL season for Virtues. Tonight, we are looking forward to seeing who you have winning their each division, AFC, NFC, the whole deal. And then, you guys know the deal, guys. We got a lot happening with our A. So we got the Lynx. Shout out to the Lynx clinching a playoff spot. We'll talk about that. They did lose last night to the Liberty, but they have a winning record against them in the regular season. The Big Ten wants to add 28 teams to the college football playoff, apparently. More on that in a little bit. The Bears signed Tysonbagent to an extension. Very tearful. He's very grateful, apparently, about the extension. Good for him. We're happy for him. And then PatrickKane. That's a guy we haven't heard from in a long time. He's looking to join the Team USA roster, so that is interesting. And then Ovi, our guy, finds movie rights partner. Who should play Ovi in the biopic? Who knows? We will talk about that in a little bit. So I say, guys, we get it going. What's up? Tater Tot Hot Take.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
All right, it is time for Tater Tot Hot Take. So, as some of you zoners know, as many Twins fans know, this past week has been very, very disappointing. And you know the whole ordeal. The pohlads have decided to officially hold on to the Minnesota Twins as we do this. I when this happened, I couldn't have been more pissed. And to be quite honest, I can cuss as much as I want to. I can, hoot and holler, bitch and moan, the whole deal here.
Yep.
But what it comes down to is that this franchise, this great franchise, who, and I quote, have won the major sports championships within the Big Four out of all this. And this is an utter disgrace. We know this. People are pissed. People aren't showing up. People are saying sell the team. We might have shirts available at some point. We will let you know on that. You know, I don't know what else there is to say. The pohlads have been inducted into the Hall of Shame, infamous list, the whole deal. There's just, I mean, this is disappointing, man. It really is. But Voldy, what are your thoughts on the news? What do you have anything else to really add to the situation that just pretty much went off the rails? What do you got?
I mean, am I surprised by the pohlads saying, yeah, we're not going to be selling the team? Absolutely not. I thought this was all going to be a farce to begin with, just to see, okay, let's see what kind of interest we have out there. Okay, we're off to a little bit of a rough start here on the season. What are we going to do about it? How can we adjust? And then just fire sale at the trade deadline. I thought maybe that would be the piece, like, okay, we got rid of all the contracts, the dead money on the books right now. That's going to make this team look as beautiful and as attractive as possible for a new ownership group to come in and be like, okay, we've got a couple of players still left over from the old ownership. Now we can make this team our own. We'll bring in our own GM. We'll bring in our own manager. We'll, send the big money contracts to all the free agents, see what we can get. That got completely pulled right out from underneath us and just absolutely ruined any hope that this franchise has right now of rebounding in any sort of way. I'm not surprised by any of this. And just the one downside that I do see is just now the fact that they're looking at bringing other potential investors in. Let's hope that these said investors would be smart enough to say, look, what do we got to do to buy you guys out so we can take full control of the team and you can continue to line your pockets elsewhere and ruin someone else's life instead of all of these hundreds of thousands of fans that continue to pile into Target Field each and every year. And just the fact of the statement that they did release, I'm not surprised. I am a little surprised, I should say, that they didn't just come out and say in a statement, we're not selling the team because we don't care, deal with it. Straight up, and just be honest. You can throw as many words out as you can, because at the end of the day, the pohlad family doesn't care. They don't care. The team's still going to make money somehow, even though they're $400 million in debt somehow, one way or another. I mean, they certainly got my money's worth. Bought this jersey, bought this hat, bought maybe $50, $60, $80 worth of food and beverage this past Saturday, including myself and a few friends that were in attendance. I certainly see it as an opportunity here to, I don't know. I'm not surprised at all that the pohlad family is sticking with it. And I just hope now, sadly, that the team fails enough to be like, all right, we got to cut our losses here and get out while we still can. If the team does bad enough, I would hope that they would find a way and maybe see the light to say, look, we got to get out of here as fast as possible.
As you were finishing up, there is an ad going right now of this article that keeps popping up. Mm-hmm. The Twins are marketing as much as they can to get people to come to Target Field. Mm-hmm. Right now, you can get tickets as low as $15 to watch the Twins and the A's play. Two AAA teams taking on each other. $31 for the Padres game. $24 for the White Sox. I mean, that should be even lower. The White Sox are terrible. But there are a couple things that, obviously are going to infuriate not only myself, but all Twins fans, owners, and whatnot. But the fact that they came out with this statement, and they have been pretty much, I think they knew from the beginning that it's like, look, we're losing a bunch of money. We're in debt. We need to, try and, add money to this and whatnot. They set a price. They said, this is what we want to sell it at. Let's see what happens. Well, no one was willing to go that far. And let me guess, they probably didn't even budge on that because they're like, it's either that or nothing else, which is a bad business sense because you're already losing a ton of people. And from what I understand, this is probably going to be the worst attended season in recent memory. From what it is on track to be just absolutely awful. Empty seats.
Right.
The only way that it's somewhat a little bit filled is if they add Dustin Lynch and they after the game, or T-Pain after the game, or Nelly after the game. Look, that's the only way that they can. And these people that are working for them are trying to work their asses off so that they can bring people to Target Field. But the fact is that they decided to say, you know what, we're going to focus on us. Not the fans, not the Twins, not the people that work under us. We only care about us. The pohlads only care about the frickin' pohlads. So, this is something that is absolutely positively, we just got breaking news. It's not Vikings related, so we're not going to go that route. But it said wide receiver, so I almost was freaking out for a second there. But the pohlads only care about themselves. It has been quite apparent. They don't give a shit about, we'll do it for the fans, we'll sell it, no problem. No, they're in it for themselves. They don't give a crap about what fans think, what players, hell, even Rocco and Voldy think. Here's one interesting thing. Joe Pohlad never wanted to sell the Twins. The only thing, and this is what Aaron Gleeman said, shout out to Aaron Gleeman, he has been a awesome resource and been bashing those damn pohlads for years now, and he said this. The only thing I will say, talking to some people, he's very well connected in the baseball realm. It's more clear than ever to me that they could have sold it. The opportunity was there, but they chose not to do it because they didn't get what they wanted. Now, here's another thing that I want to bring to the Zoners' attention and Twins fans' attention as well, which this is very, very apparent. Him saying these remarks, Joe Pohlad being him, saying, I don't think we could have imagined a better outcome than where we landed. Are you just trolling us at this point? Have you not read the news? Have you not seen people bash you for years now? I mean, do you not understand what's going on here? Like, you're not reading the room, obviously. You're just caring about you guys not going into debt.
They don't care.
They don't. And the other thing, that he said, which I think is an absolutely slap to the face to Twins fans, to us, to everybody. We want to win too. Really? Well, that's an interesting thing to bring up because you just sold off 10, 11 of your players and said, well, we got to look towards the future, the short-term, long-term. And this is what Falvey said, short-term, long-term. Well, the short-term says about, for God only knows, maybe, let's just ballpark it, 3 to 5 years, this team is going to be terrible. This team's going to be bad. And they're like, well, we'll just see how it goes in the long run. You have not put forth money to the payroll. You have decided to cut payroll because you guys don't know how to run businesses, apparently, and you're losing money and you're in debt. So this is your fault. And instead of saying, you know what, we're done with people bashing us, we're done with people, giving us a bad rep and everything like that, we're just going to sell it and just count our losses. No, they decide we're going to get extra greedy. We don't give a crap about the fans. We don't care about if you show up, you don't show up, your shirts and everything like that, which I probably will be buying a shirt. This is an absolute cluster F. I mean, I'm just going to say it. It is. It's a cluster F. And they have gone down. And I'm saying this on this show. You can replay this however you want. They are the worst owners ever. And all the four, any sport, they must be the worst owners ever. And I blame that whole damn family. I will tell you that. I blame the whole damn family. And like I said, Voldy, I will not be going to Target Field for the time being because they have decided not to sell the team. So you can kiss my ass goodbye from Target Field for a long time. I think eventually, I want to give some hope here. Eventually, I think they will sell because you're going to be losing money for people not showing up. You're going to be losing money because the team sucks. What players are going to want to come here? They've already been complaining about it. The players have said, well, am I next? Like, who wants to come here? You know, this is exactly what we keep telling people is that they don't care. They've never cared. No. They only care about themselves. I mean, they are the perfect they're the perfect villains. I mean, honestly, like I'll give them some credit. They're the perfect villains. They make you want to like just throw them in jail, throw away the key. I mean, this is an absolutely absurd thing to do to a fan base. Shame on them. It's just Voldy, I don't know what else to add really. To be quite honest, you know, we've said what we need to say about the pohlads. They're cheap. They're assholes. I'm just going to call it as it is. And you're going to be losing a lot of money, and you're going to be losing a lot of fans. It's very sad. So, anything to add, Voldy, with this?
No, the fact that you don't hear from them at all, unless it's a situation just like this, that's what upsets me the most. If you are going to be I don't want, like Jerry Jones level of like transparency and just constant, it's about me, it's not about the team. I want some sort of, chatter about what's going on in the, in their minds, front office, ownership, and all that stuff. Because the fact that we don't hear from them at all, unless it's like, hey, we just traded away 11 of our players. Hey, we're going to sell the team. Hey, we're actually not going to sell the team. That's what upsets me the most out of all of this is just there is no level of transparency at all when it comes to what their plans are, what they're thinking, what's the next move, what can we do, because there's just nothing, no interest out of them at all about, keeping us fans in the loop. Because again, they don't care. They don't care about us. They don't care about the team. They just care about whatever money they've got left in their pockets and maybe trying to turn a profit, basically. Because it's just ridiculous that there is just no sense of, I don't want to even really say urgency, but like just being able to field a decent enough team to compete. And this is something that I definitely want to take in consideration, is hopefully Major League Baseball at least steps into a point now where not so much of a salary cap like we talked about a few weeks ago, but maybe even just a minimum of like, hey, here's how much you have to spend each year on the team, or at least when it comes to your team's payroll, at least that salary floor or salary minimum or whatever, make it competitive enough, because we see time and time again, we have 1-2 good years, we make the playoffs, we actually won a series most recently, and then we just fall flat, and then we miss the playoffs, we sell off the team, and we're back at square one with all these young prospects, which are going to be very, very, which will be very interesting to see, or at least, development-wise of how these young players come up. Then we get them to the playoffs, they get bounced a few times, get a couple of veterans. We're talking, it's the same vicious cycle every 5 to 10 years of how this works. young guys, playoff experience, veterans, maybe win a playoff series, sell the team, sell off the team. Here we are all over again from 1991 all the way till now. It's the same story over and over again. There is just no breaking the cycle.
Well, Voldy, this has been very, tumultuous, but I do want to bring something up. We do have some breaking news that is not Vikings related, but this is pretty big news. Are you ready for this, Voldy? This is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty ecstatic. This is going to be good. If I can find it, where did it go? There it is. Okay, my bad. In the chats, there has been a comment made by our guy, J-Man, Jared Doyle, who has been a fan of the show for a long time now. He has announced, speaking of twins, we've got 2 new MinneZona fans coming this March. Let's go! Let's go! Twins! Are you kidding me? Congratulations!
Awesome.
Oh my gosh, that honestly,
is very good in the Voldy household as well.
Yeah, the guys, that made my day. It made my day. Gerald, thank you for making my day. That is awesome to hear. Congratulations to you and Lexi. We couldn't be more prouder of you. Oh, made my day. It honestly made my day. This is awesome. New zoners coming through, man. All right, we got to get those onesies now, I think, Voldy.
I think so.
We have to just have them available now because I got my nephew Blake. He's still, he's about 3-4 months.
I still have the onesies from Case and Tate.
Yeah, we just gotta make it available because everyone's having babies. You have a baby, but twins. That is fantastic. Congratulations. Oh, my God. Made my day. It really did.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
It really did. So congratulations to you. I will talk to you here soon and, properly congratulate you guys and whatnot. That is awesome news. Real quick, I want to finish this off because I know we got to get going Vikings and virtues and whatnot, so I'll keep this quick. But the end of this article, I think, sums it up really nice. Matthew Taylor, shout out to Matthew Taylor for this article. In the end, the most disappointing part is not just that the bad owners are staying put. It is that they are doing it while acting like Twins fans are too naive to see through the contradictions, spin, and corporate word salad. I like that, word salad. That's good. Nice. We were promised change. Instead, we are told this is the best possible outcome, that money is no object, and that ownership is as committed to winning as we are. Their words say one thing, their actions say another, and they expect us to believe them anyway. That's not just frustrating, it is insulting. So, put it like that. That's how we look at it. The pohlads should be ashamed of themselves. You can hide up in your ivory tower all you guys want. But eventually, the chickens will come home to roost. That's all I got to say. So, next thing, we have those Minnesota Vikings. The preseason assessments of the Minnesota Vikings. Now, the big news, obviously, to start off the show, was Harrison Phillips being traded to the New York Jets. We talked a little bit about that, the impact of that, and apparently, and Hunt's put this, and I saved it just because I didn't want to miss it. Hunt says adds $4 million in salary this year and just over $6 million next year. So that helps a lot, especially now that we have Hargrave and Jonathan Allen. So, that was kind of the big news. We talked about that for a little bit, but. Before we get into the assessment, rumors are heating up, and they're heating up pretty darn quick. So I wouldn't be surprised if something happens during the show here. But we will keep an eye on everything and go from there. So the Minnesota Vikings have had some talks about wide receiver. right now, we all know Addison's probably, or not probably, he is suspended the first 3 games of the season. Justin Jefferson is working his way back from an injury, and I think he'll be good. I think he'll be good to go come Monday night. But there was a little bit of an issue at practice. Guys, it was a physical practice. Guys hurt their hand. Ty Felton, Jordan Addison. Apparently, this is not serious injuries. Thank God. So, with that being said, the hot rumor is one man, Adam Thielen. There has been talks that the Vikings are very interested in bringing in a wide receiver, one of them being Adam Thielen. Some others have been thrown into the mix as well. Voldy, what are your thoughts on all these rumors swirling with the wide receiver? Do you think it's a good idea for the Vikings to bring in another guy? Because, after, and especially with Naylor's injury, now that's a week-to-week thing. I can't forget about that. But what are your thoughts? Is this a good idea for them to go out and get another veteran wide receiver just to, help out these next few those 3 games Addison's gone? What do you got?
Yeah, I see this as an opportunity. I look at the whole situation. Obviously, the injuries are starting to mount up. Of course, Addison's suspension on top of it. I think bodies are definitely a good thing to have, but also experience is a good thing. And you have nothing but more experience and also playmaking ability like an Adam Thielen or just a veteran free agent wide receiver that is out there. Just throwing him into the mix, of course, you get him back into the good graces of Minnesota Vikings fans. I don't think that he ever lost favor with the Vikings. Sure, he went to Carolina. He wanted to get his money. It didn't really work out on top of everything that's going on in the Carolina situation. That did happen. He got his money, but I think now is the time for him to start looking at maybe it's time to come home and finish what I started, if not right off into the sunset. But again, having a guy like him, not only in the wide receiver room, just gets that experience and at least a lot more comfortability, at least throwing him into the mix a lot more, because Jefferson back this week with dealing with his hamstring injury. Like I said, Jalen Naylor hurt. Rondale Moore is out for the season as well with his knee injury. On top of it, Ty Felton's kind of in nothing too serious, but probably laboring a little bit. So definitely need to get bodies out on the field because, coming into camp, we were looking at who's going to be the wide receiver number 3. Then Addison gets suspended. Okay, who's going to step up to be wide receiver number 2? Now we're looking at who we're going to throw the ball to besides Justin Jefferson if he's going to be doubled, if not triple teamed, coming off the line of scrimmage. So I think getting someone like Adam Thielen would definitely solidify a lot of things and at least help things out in the short term. But if he plays above expectations, could benefit in the long term as well. Maybe get that one final season, him in purple, before maybe moving on to greener pastures, if not looking at things post-football career on top of it.
Whew. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack, and I just want to play a clip. Kay Adams was here in town today for Vikings practice, and she interviewed.
She didn't come say hi? That's rude.
I know. Honestly, she's a friend of the show. Got to meet her when they came for the Super Bowl. She was fantastic, and she's killing it over. And it's unfortunate it has to be a scam duel, but it is. But she does a great job. It's not her. It's just scam duel. Just don't trust them. Anyway, she was interviewing our guy KOC. She brought up the fact that there might be a possibility of Adam Thielen. Let's take a listen.
You know what I want to see?
What do you want to see?
Local boy to come back.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like those golden gloves and that Detroit Lakes gentleman. What is that smile?
I would just
I'm
say...
just saying my wish list. I would like... Listen, we're talking fast starts. You know me. I have said many times there's nothing stopping this team from going to the Super Bowl. I'd like a quick
I
start.
hope so.
I think Adam Thielen coming home. I'm just... Your reaction to that.
This is the first I'm hearing of that idea.
Oh,
so
what do you think of that idea? I like the idea.
No, I love Adam Thielen. You talk about the 2022 year.
Yeah.
You don't build something from day one the way these guys did and the players did in year one without players like Adam Thielen on the team.
Hope the fans want it.
Yeah, he's there's a reason why he's not only a Vikings favorite, the career he's had here, but how about the job he's done going down there with a bunch of young players, and I guarantee you that the Panthers are in a good place right now because of all that work Adam Thielen put in. So, huge fan of Adam Thielen.
I mean, it's very possible. Very possible. I don't know. It seems if you look at the clip, and if you go on the Up and Adam show, it's got all those clips. But if you look at his face, he's kind of like, ooh, if you knew what's been going on. Just saying. Just saying. It might happen. I'd welcome it. Honestly, I mean, that's kind of my mindset here too, Voldy, is I'd be totally fine. Him and Jefferson get along. I mean, shoot, in the offseason, McCarthy was throwing footballs to Thielen, was throwing to guys that, that were Hawkinson and stuff. And the one person that wasn't a Viking, obviously, Adam Thielen. I think this is a great idea to bring Thielen in. And if it's somebody else, so be it. I just hope it's somebody that we can look at and say, okay, he can kind of, ride the wave and then be that wide receiver 3 after once Jordan Addison gets back. So, with that being said, I like this. I think this is a smart move for them to do that. And if they don't, then it is what it is. But I won't be too upset if they don't make it happen. But honestly, I think this is a good idea. Why not? The Panthers have plenty of good wide receivers over there. Mm-hmm. Why not make the call, Quasey? Make the call, man. That's what I think. Maybe they already have. Who knows? But we'll keep an eye on that. Preseason. So, Voldy, we probably won't have time for this. I thought we would, but we really won't. Final 53. We're talking about some guys that have kind of, that we've been kind of looking at and saying, he might make the team. This guy might, et cetera, et cetera. But Voldy, what guy have you been looking at and saying, like, this guy might have a chance to make the 53-man roster? Give me one of the guys that you've kind of had your eye on here. What do you got?
Up until he was, a little bit hampered with injury, and at least kind of looking at kind of a last-minute, injury on his part. I mean, like I said, before the preseason began and training camp, I was looking at, of course, with Ty Felton. I know that he was a guy that was going to be in the wide receiver position as well. Jalen Nailor, Justin, those are the 3 guys we had consistently last year for the Vikings, but Nailor being hurt and a deal more. Ty Felton was a guy that I was seeing as he could possibly slide into that number 3 spot if he outplays, of course, Jalen Nailor, maybe finds his way onto special teams too, with there being, of course, a kick return punt situation. But now with him being a little bit more on the injured side of things, or at least kind of nothing too serious, maybe a day-to-day situation, I hope that isn't putting his spot in jeopardy, but definitely going to have to impress a few people here with this final preseason game coming up if he does end up playing against Tennessee.
Voldy, I got a name that is very familiar and it's very possible at this point because he's actually been very good. Max Brosmer. Yes, Max Brosmer, I think, is going to make the 53-man roster. Listen, Sam Howell had a terrible game last game, and he threw an absolute dog.
We traded for him, dude.
Yeah, and we traded for him, so that's factored in as well. Maybe he can bounce back here in the final preseason game. We're going to need it. But honestly, out of those guys, with McCarthy, Howell, Brosmer, and Rippon, I like Brosmer out of those 2. I mean, this guy has led the offense down to maybe tie the game up. Yes, Brosmer threw the interception. I get it. It's kind of that last heave. And I thought the guy did fumble, by the way, but whatever. It's preseason. It's whatever. Anyway, but Max Brosmer brought them down I think it was like they were at the 13, so I mean over 80 yards, an 80-yard drive down to nearly the goal line to win the game. That is something that not a lot of backups can really do, and a lot of these backups that are, like Rippon and Howell added in, because Howell has been a turnover machine since he's been in the league. He's had some spots of brilliance, but then again, Max Brosmer's been throwing dimes, man. So I think Max Brosmer, that's my guy. I think he's going. I think he's making the team. He might be QB2, honestly, because I Rippon, I think, is I don't know about him. He might not make it. A couple other guys I won't go too much in depth because we got to get to virtues, but Xavier Scott, I think, is a guy that could possibly beat out Ty Chandler. Unfortunately, because Ty Chandler, I thought, had his spurts. But
he did,
now that you have Jones and you have Mason, do you really need Ty Chandler? I just, and all due respect, because I do like Ty Chandler, it's just, I just don't think there's enough. Now, I can't really say with wide receivers right now, like you were saying. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I got. Defensively, it's been pretty set in stone with the D tackles, our edge rushers. It's pretty self-explanatory. Blake Cashman. Kobe King, I think, is a guy who they drafted in the 6th round out of Penn State, who has made some flashes in training camp and in some of the games. Corners, Okuda, I think, is going to make it. McGlothern, Murphy, Blackman, and there was another guy that was on here, but I think he's not on there. And then Theo Jackson, Josh Metellus, Dirty Harry, and then Jay Ward. I'm kind of shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if Jay Ward gets let go because, I don't know, he's not great. But anyway, with that being said, that's kind of what we got. We'll keep you up to date on anything in regards to the Vikings trading and whatnot. So make sure that you keep in tune with us. And, the big news, shout out to our guy, J-Man, Jared Doyle, have twins. Him and his wife, Alexi, with twins. Wow. In March. How about that?
Crazy. That's
wow,
crazy.
that's the best news I heard all day. Really was. Voldy, for virtues, you have your division winners ready to roll. I say we head to that Temple of Wisdom. We get enlightened with Voldy's knowledge.
He has emerged from the Temple of Wisdom. Gather round for Voldy's virtues.
Like he said, our guy Austin said, it is time for Voldy's virtues. So, Voldy, it is time for you to enlighten us with your knowledge.
Of course, a brand new season of NFL football just right around the corner. We've seen lots of things with the 2 weeks of preseason, of course, throwing in the NFL Hall of Fame game on top of it. But we are at a time now where everybody is starting to make their way to early Super Bowl predictions. I'm not going to go that far to say who will be versing who and who will be winning the Super Bowl, but we are going to take a little bit of a futures dive into who will be winning each division. And no, I will not be including wild card winners and playoff teams because that would give away a little bit more of things to look at for the back end of this conversation here today. Of course, we'll start on things with the American Football Conference. That is the AFC, starting off in the Eastern Division. I mean, it's the Bills' division to lose in the AFC East. A great quarterback, reigning MVP, Mr. Haley Steinfeld himself in Josh Allen. Receiving core that seems to find ways to get creative and stay creative in many different ways. A good solid core of tight ends as well. Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid on top of it that are experienced, and added a couple of pieces on the defensive side too. You bring in a Bosa, believe it or not, on the D line. Ed Oliver is looking very nice on top of things too on the defensive line. Then you also bring back Tre'Davious White. See if he can find the fountain of youth up there in the Great White North, with that being the time to capitalize for them, because that Super Bowl window is shrinking with each year, and if we aren't very close, this might be one of those years where things might go away for the Buffalo Bills. But of course, within the AFC East, you still cannot sleep on Miami, and a lot of people are throwing them into the mix, and I will be one of them as well, the New England Patriots. That's right. With a brand new coaching staff, a little bit more focus on defense, and also a young burgeoning offense on top of it. Will be very interesting to see how they work their way into the mix, but it's still Buffalo's division to lose in the AFC East. Heading over to the AFC West, yes, it will come as no surprise. Kansas City is my choice to win the division this year. It's tough not to say Kansas City, but just when you think that this is the year things aren't going to go their way this year, they come right back, punch you right in the mouth, and find a way to do it. You thought maybe last year they'd fall off, but yet somehow they find ways to win. Blocked field goals at the end of regulation, somehow ridiculous comeback victories, winning with defense instead of offense, winning with offense instead of defense, and just continue to find more and more creative ways to win games. And of course, you've got a fully healthy Patrick Mahomes, you've got Travis Kelce, you've got Hollywood Brown, you've got, well, hopefully Rashee Rice, criminally negligent in a few areas, Xavier Worthy, Isaac Pacheco. You also have Kareem Hunt back for another year, and a defense that will always find ways to make plays. So you can't, as much as I don't want to, you can't go against the Kansas City Chiefs, and they will win the division again. But the division will certainly have my eye throughout the season, because the division itself is not as cut and dry as it has been in years past. Of course, the Denver Broncos made some noise this past year. The LA Chargers are getting more comfortable with their new coaching staff, of course, in the second year of Harbaugh over there. And the Raiders, new coaching staff, new quarterback, and a few added pieces on top of it. Of course, with Ashton Genty out of the backfield, will be quite interesting to see how they play out. So I wouldn't be surprised at who makes their move at being the top dog in the AFC West. But seeing at least 2 or 3 teams that make it out of the West in the playoffs certainly would not be surprised at all. Now we're going to move over to the AFC South. Now this one, a little bit tough to say, because the AFC South, for lack of a better term, is quite possibly the worst division in the NFL. Do not at me. The Jacksonville Jaguars. This one was a bit of a surprise, I would certainly say, given by some of the moves that Jacksonville has had in this offseason. Of course, I just gave them a little bit of a slight edge over Houston, just based off of what C.J. Stroud did last season, a little bit of a sophomore slump. And, of course, you also throw in a couple interesting moves that they had. But with now that they give Trevor Lawrence a little bit of help with a solid enough signal caller and offensive-minded coach like Liam Cohen at the head coaching spot for them, this could definitely be the right stepping stone for them to get the Jags over the hump and maybe mix some things up and at least be able to make a serious enough playoff run compared to the last time they did back in 2017 with the Blake Bortles-led Jacksonville Jaguars. That's how long things have been since they saw serious success in the playoff realm. Now we head over the AFC North in a completely 4-horse race, if you will, but it's the Baltimore Ravens to win the AFC North. This will be a revenge tour for Lamar Jackson, snubbed from the MVP last year, missed the AFC Championship game because of a drop pass from Mark Andrews. This will be a year where we will see a completely different side of Lamar, and with the depth that he has at the weaponry position, Derrick Henry, now throwing in DeAndre Hopkins, of course, what they have to bring on the defensive side, a little bit more experience on their side as well defensively. I don't see how the Ravens don't run away with the division early on. What do we see out of Cincinnati? Who knows? Going to be a lot of 45 to 42 games with them. Pittsburgh could be a nice surprise out of there. And then you also throw in Cleveland. Cleveland's going to Cleveland. We're just more worried about who's going to be starting at quarterback, let alone who's going to be, making the full push for them, at least, to be considered above 500 on the season. Now let's switch things over to the NFC. Starting off the NFC East, we do have, of course, the reigning Super Bowl champions in the Philadelphia Eagles. That's who I have as winning the division. You know, the Super Bowl hangover is a real thing, but a team as stacked as the Eagles that somehow found a way to get better through the draft and yet coming back fully healthy yet again, I don't see how they don't make another serious run. Now, it could very well be that they fall flat on their face like the last time they won the Super Bowl and they just couldn't get it all together for them down the stretch in that season and previous seasons before winning this past year. Now, let's not sleep on the Commanders, the Commies, that completely overachieved after their first year with their, head coach and Dan Quinn and, of course, rookie quarterback in Jaden Daniels. But with an offense that's led by, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, of course, that stout offensive line. And let's not forget about the exciting whites on the defensive side and their D-line that is as stacked as it can be in many different areas. Let's watch out for another run from the reigning champs because it could very well be another run to the top of the mountain for those in green and black. Of course, out of the NFC West, this one is a little bit of a tough one because there's a lot of question marks and a lot of asterisks in a few areas. But I went with the San Francisco 49ers to win the NFC West. A year off in the playoffs to get fully healthy, to sign their boys, of course, Brock Purdy and George Kittle, was absolutely pivotal for this team. Of course, that they are dealing with a couple injuries on the offensive side with, of course, Brandon Ayuk, and you also throw in Jawan Jennings, who are a little bit hampered as of late. But they took a few hits with their defense also signing elsewhere, but getting back Robert Saleh as their defensive coordinator, another calming presence for their team that needs as much consistency as they can in their locker room because we saw a lot of drama last season. The less amount of drama, the better for the San Francisco 49ers. Having Christian McCaffrey back, hopefully fully healthy this year, will be another added piece that could use a bit of jolt for them out of the backfield as well, and also out of the backfield for, the San Francisco offense that likes to get out and move the ball quickly. The reason I didn't pick the Rams is because we've heard a lot and a little bit too much about what is going on with Matthew Stafford and his back. Now, things have been looking just a smidgen better for Matthew Stafford in the last couple of days at training camp. But I would like to hear the latest and at least what's going on with the Rams and Matthew Stafford from our Rams expert, Jason Schmitz. That would be nice to know because I can only imagine what's going through his mind with the turmoil that could potentially be with, of course, the Rams and what they're going to be bringing in for this upcoming season. Now we head to the NFC South. Look, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, plain and simple. Baker and the boys have that thing locked down in the South. New Orleans has no idea what's going on. They're trying to figure out if they're going to start a second-year quarterback or a 26-year-old rookie quarterback. Yeah. Carolina is there, but I'm not too worried about what they've got because we could see a lot more competitive games out of them like we saw in the back half of the season last year with Bryce Young. But I think they're maybe a year or so behind where they could be fighting for that division crown. And Atlanta's interesting. Now, some people have said they could see Atlanta at the top of the division or at least maybe in a wild card spot. But Atlanta could be either really good or really bad based off what side of the coin it lands on for them because they've got pieces. They've got some guys, but I really don't want to – I really want to understand how is this all going to factor in when Kirk Cousins is making, $100 million by sitting on the bench, basically, over his time in the ATL. Now, lastly, we head to the NFC North. I'm not going to be giving my choice on who's going to be winning the NFC North because we've got our own spin on that coming up here very soon. Of course, our purple preview, our NFC North state of the NFC North, whatever we're going to be coming up with here. So that's going to be coming up soon. So you definitely want to stay tuned for that. But don't be surprised at who I will say will most likely be the king of the North once again for the upcoming season. But there we go. That's who I've got for winning the divisions this year. And hopefully I can be proven right. But it's the NFL. It's August. I could be completely wrong on every single one of these picks because none of this stuff makes sense.
Well, it's hard to dispute a lot of your division winners. Tampa, yep, I think that's pretty well said. The West, I feel like, that's going to be kind of it's going to be tough. I think, I think Seattle's definitely a little bit in that mix. But the Rams are definitely as well. Eagles, easy, yeah. Ravens, yeah, I see that. Jags, that's interesting. I mean, Mr. Duval, maybe he can kind of get out of that whole deal and do something with it. So maybe he will. We'll see. Kansas City, easy. That makes sense. And the Bills. I mean, the Bills have dominated that division for a little bit now, which is kind of surprising, to say the least. Minor breaking news, Voldy. Take a look. We got our chat back. Yes. Shout out to eCam, man. That is so cool. We got our chat back. We can throw it up on our screen as well. So hey, shout out to eCam. Claps out to you. Even though you cost a bit more now, so we got that going for us. But yes, Voldy, Purple Preview is coming up here in about 2 weeks. Next week we might have our NFC North roundtable talk. We'll keep you up to date on that. And great job with Virtues this week as well, Voldy, especially multitasking as Tate has joined the show as well. So welcome, Tate. And A-Ray's up here next. The Lynx, they're the first to clinch a playoff spot. We'll talk about that. The Big Ten wants to keep adding more teams to college football playoff. No surprise there. I don't know why they keep doing this. This is ridiculous. We'll talk more about that. The Bears signed tysonbagent to an extension. We'll talk about that. And then PatrickKane, a guy we haven't heard from in a long time. He's wanting to make the USA roster. I do have an update on a big fan of PatrickKane who had a little controversial. So we'll talk about that too. And Ovi finds movie rights partner. Who do we want Ovi to play? What actor do we want to play Ovi? I don't know. Who's going to do it? We'll talk about it. So, with that being said, I say we get it going. Let's stop. Observed or approved.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
Well, it is time for Absurd or Approved, so Voldy, Tate, why don't you rattle them off for us, please?
Well, it's not too often we start ARA with the WNBA, but when it's concerning our Minnesota Lynx, we have to start off. The first place Minnesota Lynx weren't in action this past week, or at least at the time of this article, but still found a way to become the first team to clinch A's playoff spot for the 2025 WNBA playoffs. Of course, with the season that they've had led by the MVP candidate, or the MVP, if you will, Napheesa Collier, who hasn't played a game in 2.5 weeks, coming off an ankle injury, but still at this point well above the pace and now still holding on to single-digit losses, coming off a loss last night against the New York Liberty, but have held their own in the absence of Napheesa Collier, going 9-1 and had a 5-game winning streak during that time with the absence of Napheesa Collier. Great to see, of course, with the regular season set to end on the 11th of September. 8 teams making the playoffs, first round best of 3, semifinals best of 5, and there will be a best of 7 in the finals for the first time coming up. Now, with all this thrown into the mix and the season that the Lynx have had, of course, throwing in, of course, Carrington with the trade that they've had, and the great amount of experience that they've had. Caleb Bride's filled in quite nicely, hit a clutch shot against Liberty this over the weekend as well. Is it absurd or approved? The Lynx will return to the finals after clinching their playoff spot this past week.
Well, they have been fantastic this whole season. And to be honest, without Napheesa Collier, without MVP, they've done well. Despite losing to the Liberty last night and everything along those lines. I mean, there's still belief in this team. I mean, they beat them 3 times already. I'm sure the Liberty wanted to make sure they didn't lose again. I think they cut it down to 4 last night and almost got it done, which is, impressive in itself. But I think they are going to return to the finals. I feel like they are a complete team. With Carrington being added to this team, I think has jolted this team to where they want to go. I think role players have stepped up. Cheryl's got them playing really good basketball right now. This is only going to get better when Nafisa comes back. And I think they're going to have a team that I wouldn't say is indestructible, because no one's indestructible, I feel, but like this is the favorite to win it all, and especially if you believe the whole like we've been saying before, the whole if you lose in the NBA or the WNBA mid-season tournament or whatever in the final, then you end up winning the actual finals in was it September as the finals and whatnot. So anyway, it just kind of shows like, hey, this is the team to beat, and they want revenge for what happened last year. So we'll have to get Zappa on here fairly soon as well, because I want his take on some of this. But then again, Zappa's too busy modeling and things like that. He's a busy guy. Don't get me wrong. But, I think they will. It's got my stamp of approval, Voldy. I don't see why they wouldn't. This is a, situation where they're going to, I think they're going to get there, and I think they're going to win it. I said it before. I'm saying it again. They will return. Voldy, what do you got?
I don't see why they don't make a serious enough run like they did last year, because we were looking at the last couple of years of them just being, okay, it's going to be a down year. We traded away a couple of players. Let's just hope we're competitive. And yet last year they made it all the way to the WNBA finals, won the Commissioner's Cup on top of it. Like, hey, this kind of sparked out of nowhere. Let's see what we can do with it. You've got Nafisa Collier. It looks like she's going to be questionable for tomorrow's contest against the Dream, but getting her back at the right time, so that way she is, back into the flow of things as we hit late August. And then now we hit, we're probably 2.5, 3 weeks away from playoff time. Get her back into the flow of things. Yep. And then boom, once playoffs click, she'll be back into the flow well enough that we see that MVP form that we saw since the start of the season on top of it. And it really threw me through a loop here with the schedule. The last 3 contests have been against the New York Liberty, away, home, and away. I thought maybe the playoffs had already started and that we were already beating the Liberty on top of it. Just get 3 consecutive games against the same opponent was kind of weird. But I definitely like what the Lynx have done this season. They traded away a couple of players that maybe weren't living up to form, and also get back, a really solid player in Carrington on top of it. It's going to be really nice to see how that plays out into the postseason here for the Lynx, enough for them to be much more stout than we've seen in maybe the last couple of years, because they've got some players here that maybe don't put up the strongest of numbers, but can definitely go out and get the ball as needed, because I definitely feel that we need a full breakdown from Zappa here in the very near future, hopefully before the playoffs start, so that way we can at least get ourselves aligned to what the Lynx have been doing all year.
Yeah, they find ways to win. They win close games, and I think that's really what have set them apart from the rest. And I think they're well set. They're good to go. So next one, Voldy.
Well, as if I didn't need another reason to hate the Big Ten Conference on my top 10 and famous list. Well, the Big Ten Conference has considered an idea of a massive expansion of the college football playoff that would grow the postseason to, quote, 24 or 28 teams. While the idea is in its very early stages, the proposal would eliminate conference title games and offer a large number of automatic bids to all Power 4 leagues. Now, taking into account maybe a 28-team model, the Big Ten and SEC would get 7 automatic bids, while the ACC and Big 12 would receive 5. There'd be 2 automatic bids for non-Power 4 conferences in 2 at-large teams, maybe quite possibly independent teams on top of it. Now, this would put 20 games on campus and would accentuate the success of that from last year's college football playoff on top of it. Now, this is all an idea that was put out by Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti on top of it, and said that it has begun being shared by others. Now, just give me your initial face value logic. What do you think? Would this be, is it absurd or approved? Would this expansive playoff be beneficial for college football itself?
Well, to put it plainly, no. I think it's a bad idea. Look, we have been through this with the NCAA for long enough. You need to stick to what you have. They clearly want to keep doing this because they want to make more money. They're being very greedy. And adding all these teams, I think, to the best of my knowledge and from what I've been seeing here, it's too much. There's too much, and it's like at-large teams, and it's like, oh, they'll get a chance, it's gonna be kind of like March Madness. It's like, just stop. You can decide at this point in time now. I mean, there's no changing it at this point. You guys have kept changing it up. Oh, we're gonna stick with 4. No, we'll add 8. No, we'll add 12. It's like, you need to stick with what you have. And at 12, if you go beyond 12, that's just ridiculous. There's too many damn teams. And it's like we're just giving out trophies left and right. The Big Ten is a conference that continues to try and push this narrative that, this would make sense, and, this would be, good for all teams, and you never know who can come out of it. It's like, we know who's going to come out of it. The Ohio States, the Michigans, the Penn States, and, teams like that where, it's like, I'm trying to think of a bad team. Who's a bad team? Well, like Rutgers. Rutgers is probably never going to, do anything and win a national title. But, I might eat those words maybe at some point while I'm still living. But I don't know. I don't think this is a good idea. Stop adding these ridiculous proposals to try and do something with the college football playoff. It's getting out of hand. Stop it. So yes, it's absurd. To put it plainly, it's absurd. Stop adding teams. This is ridiculous. Voldy, what do you got?
Yeah, I think the Big Ten is just throwing out ideas because they haven't been talked about in the last few weeks. Be like, all right, what's the most craziest thing that we can come up with to at least get people talking about the Big Ten Conference, other than Michigan and their punishment that they got for the cheating scandal in the national championship? Oh, yeah, let's throw out the most ridiculous college football playoff model of all time. Look, I think that the playoff is just getting more and more crazy because we keep changing it every few years. It used to be 4 teams, then it was 8 teams. Now we're up to 12 teams now, and we're throwing games on campus. Bowl games don't even matter anymore, and it's getting more and more ridiculous with each year that goes by. Now let's double where we are currently and maybe even add a few more on top to see how crazy we can get when it comes to hosting the college football playoff. I think this expanded format would not be beneficial for college football. It would just make it even more crazy because sooner or later it's just going to be about the money as opposed to the sport itself in college football. Because at this point, here's my model. Don't even have a season. Just get every team lined up based off of last season. Let's just play a full playoff from the opening kick, basically. have a couple of tune-up scrimmages or something from the spring into the summer, into the full season, right from, well, I think we got college football coming up, if not this weekend, maybe next weekend for Labor Day weekend. Let's just start right there. That's the start of the playoff and go all the way through January into, of course, the spring, which will then just turn right back around. I think it's completely absurd. The Big Ten Conference needs to just shut its mouth for a little bit and focus on, doing better as opposed to just adding more and more teams to make it more and more ridiculous. They still need to change the name. The Big Ten Conference, that thing's dead. That thing was dead when they added Rutgers in Nebraska, in Maryland too as well. They need to change the name before so help me I do something about it.
At this point, you might as well just add every team that's under the sun. You know what I mean? Just add every team. It's
pretty
just,
much.
It's getting to that point where it's just like, just add everybody. See how it goes. Jeez. Anyway, all right, next one, Voldy.
Well, we head to the world of the NFL. That's right. We're talking about the Chicago Bears quarterback situation. No, it's not Caleb Williams, but his backup in Tysonbagent got a 2-year, $10 million contract extension as he was gone from being, of course, an undrafted rookie, even got some starts and some sparing time over the last couple of years before the Caleb Williams era did begin. The former Division II standout from Shepherd University, of course, has been the number 2 quarterback since the 2023 season. Of course, did get a little bit of love from this past year's Hard Knocks with his dad, who is a multi-time world champion arm wrestler. I have been more in on the Tysonbagent campaign well before Caleb Williams at that point, just based off his dad and all the shenanigans he gets into before, during, and even after his games. Of course, Tysonbagent in that number 2 slot at quarterback has seen a little bit of action here, of course, with the preseason, has done fairly well for himself in his time to at least warrant a 2-year, $10 million extension. But is it absurd or approved with what we've seen with Caleb Williams and maybe even the start of this new offensive regime under Ben Johnson? Will we see Tysonbagent start for the Bears within the next 2 seasons under that extension?
I don't know. That's tough to say because I still think the jury's out on Caleb Williams. Now, I really haven't been hearing good things about Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson right now. Maybe Mitch can enlighten us next week. We'll see.
We'll see.
But, spoiler alert. The thing I think about Caleb Williams is, like, there are flashes of brilliance. Don't get me wrong, there is. Let's be honest, he wanted to come to the Minnesota Vikings. He wanted to be a Minnesota Viking, so unfortunately not the case for the Vikings. Well, actually, maybe it could be fortunately for the Vikings. Well, anyway, I think that if he starts really playing bad, he'd have to play really bad this year in order for them to bench him and put in Bagent. But, Bagent's not bad. I mean, he got thrown into the fire, I think, against the Vikings when Fields went down, and he didn't do that well. He's still a, young kid and whatnot, but he's played really well in this preseason. He's really kind of grown as a quarterback. His dad's like a professional arm wrestler, arm wrestler and whatnot, and he's got some grit to him. So, as much as I want to say absurd, just because I want to piss off Mitch, approved. Excuse me, I read it wrong. As much as I want to say approved just to piss off Mitch to see if he want Tysonbagent as their starting quarterback if Caleb just absolutely sucks. But I got to go absurd. I mean, I think this is a perfect setup for him because this is technically a backup. This deal is a backup role, but he's getting paid good money as well. So, if Caleb gets hurt, yeah, I could see it. You know, he's probably going to start. But I'm going to say absurd. I think Caleb's their guy, and he's going to get better and whatnot. I just don't like guys when they keep, mentioning, oh, he's Mahomes-esque and this and that. It's like, the guy's played one season. I mean, good Lord, you can't just expect him to be Mahomes. Right now, he's not at that level. Not even close yet. So, I'm going to say absurd. I think Caleb's probably their guy, but I don't know if him and Ben Johnson don't get along. It could be short-lived. We'll see. What do you think, Voldy?
I mean, I see this, Tysonbagent has always been at least one or two steps behind whoever's been in front of him, but he has shown some promise in he did in the preseason last year. He's gotten a couple of starts in some, back into the season play since 2023, since he's joined the league. So he hasn't been terrible. I think it's just been about, whoever's been in front of him has just been a little bit better, but he's always just one play away from being the starting quarterback of the Chicago Bears. I could see him getting a start. If it goes catastrophically wrong for Caleb Williams, I could see it happen. Just all depends on how he's picking up the offense with Ben Johnson and how he's adjusted with his plays. But I think even with a new head coach for, Caleb, and obviously a new system for him, it could be beneficial. I think they're going to do everything they can to get the best out of Caleb Williams as opposed to make Caleb Williams fit the system that he has. I think it's going to be a little bit of give and take there. But I think Tysonbagent is certainly in, a situation where he could definitely thrive for sure. But, if he doesn't find his way to start in Chicago, he's got enough tape out there, and he could definitely find himself in a better situation once that extension comes through. But you know what? I could definitely see him start a game. It could very well be an injury situation, hopefully not in that case. But I see him starting a game here in the near future, and hopefully not one of those, we're resting our starters because we've got a playoff game coming up next week situation. Hopefully it's more along the lines of like, hey, we've got 2 wins on the season. It's week 18. Let's just get out of here unscathed and let the young kid get his reps in.
Yeah, very, very well could be. But, it's an uphill battle, that's for sure, if he's going to want to be a starter for the Bears. So we'll see. All right, next one, Voldy.
We head to the world of the NHL and international ice hockey as Detroit Red Wings star PatrickKane will be attending U.S. Men's Olympic Orientation Camp this month, which will be his hopefully third opportunity to represent Team USA in the Winter Olympics coming up here next year. Now, PatrickKane, entering age 36, played in the Winter Olympics in 2010 and in 2014, winning a silver medal in Vancouver, but finishing 4th in Sochi, but has been in 12 Olympic appearances for Team USA in those games. Entering his 19th season, Kane will be one of 44 players that is scheduled to attend the camp that will be taking place coming up here next week in Michigan, largely as an administrative and team-building event with no formal on-ice activity. Now, one of 5 former Olympians set to take place for the camp coming up here next week wasn't initially chosen as one of the first 6 members. Now, those 6 did go to Jack Eichel, Austin Matthews, Brady Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk, and Quinn Hughes, along with Charlie McAvoy. Those guys are for sure on Team USA for the 2026 U.S. Olympic men's hockey. Now, being a 36-year-old forward that's slowly gotten his game back to performing at the NHL level over the last season and a half, do you find it absurd or approve PatrickKane will make Team USA for the 2026 Winter Olympics in Italy?
So I sent a snap before the show to our good friend Devin, and she said this in return. She's a big Patrick Kane fan, obviously. Chicago Blackhawks, that's her team. She says I think this was misspelling because she had to switch the 2 words around. It said, should he just retire? I think she meant he should just retire. LOL. So it's kind of funny.
Well, he did go to the enemy in Detroit, so
That's
probably
true.
Patrick
That
to
you
it.
know that probably added fuel to the fire for him.
Yep.
So
It didn't help. It didn't help.
yeah. So anyway, I mean, has he done it before? Yes. Has he been very good? Yeah, of course he's been very good. But I think his best hockey is behind him. Unfortunately, obviously him going to the Red Wings as well. But I just think they're pretty well set. I mean, Brock Faber's one of those guys that's on the team. Matt Voldy's another name. Cole Caulfield as well, even though our guy Gabs calls him Goal Caulfield as well. So shout out to Gabs. Alex Tuck is there as well. I mean, there's just enough, and I think Billy G is, since he's the GM of the team, I don't necessarily look at this and say, well, we got to add PatrickKane. I think it's nice having that captain in there, but I don't know. I just think he's shown his, what he can do and whatnot, and like you said, in the Vancouver Olympics, he was awesome. So, to answer your question, and it's just me being kind of a little bit of a homer here, but I don't think he's going to make it for the 2026 Olympics. Sorry, not sorry. You can boo me all you want, whatever. But nah, I don't think he's getting a roster spot. That's just me though. But I could see Billy G being like, well, it's probably his last one. We'll have him go out there. I wouldn't, stress about it or anything like that. If he's there, fine. But I just don't think it's the right idea at this point in his career. So, Voldy, what do you think?
I mean, this will definitely be, a nice feather in the cap for at least him to be in the mix, at least invited for that, because looking at some of the guys here that are on the invitee camp players, I mean, he is certainly, him and Ryan McDonough, probably the two oldest guys that are on that list of guys that have competed previously for Team USA and on the Olympic level. So at least talking about that experience and getting that in there. I don't see him making the team overall, because I think with Team USA and the success that they saw out of the Four Nations face-off this last year, and just kind of a mix of youth and grit and a little bit of some a little bit of nasty in their lineup too. I feel like they're going to try and go that route a little bit more here, try to use speed and youth to their advantage while also having smart hockey players. Not saying that Patrick Kane is neither one of them, is neither smart, neither fast or whatever, but this is a young kid's game nowadays. But if he could provide a little bit of that veteran leadership out of this camp and at least steer these kids in the right direction, it'll certainly bode well for him. But being a player to make the cut overall, I definitely don't see it happening for him, especially given the fact that his hip was just in utter, disrepair a year and a half ago, and now is finding his way back into the NHL after the last season and a half. He's definitely got a long road ahead of him for sure.
Yep, I think so. I think it's going to be tough. These young guys are good. They're really good, too. So, we shall see. All right, last one, Voldy.
Well, lastly, we stay in the world of hockey, but this one, neither NHL or just future. We're looking at the Washington Capitals star forward, and Alex Ovechkin looks like he will be entering into his final season, has partnered with a Russian technology company to produce a movie, series, or documentary about his NHL career. Now, the company Yandex and its streaming platform announced this past week that or a couple weeks ago, I should say, that it has acquired the rights to the Alex Ovechkin story as well. Of course, with him surpassing Wayne Gretzky's career goals record and scored 897 goals going into the final year of his contract with the Washington Capitals. He will be turning 40 next month. That is Alex Ovechkin. He does have quite a story for him, given the fact that he's played his entire career with the Washington Capitals after being the first pick in 2004, debuting in 2005, being captain since 2010, and was also a Stanley Cup champion in the 2018-2019 season with the Capitals. Now, there's a lot of things we can go here this way, whether it be a documentary, whether it be a series, or even a movie. If we are going to go maybe the series or the movie route of the Alex Ovechkin story, who should play Alex Ovechkin in a movie or series of his NHL career? Who do you see being as a good enough actor to play the great eight himself?
You know, I did think about this when you put this on the old doc. And I had somebody in mind, and now I can't think of it. What the hell is going on? I kept coming back to, like, as I was thinking here, I kept coming back to Miles Teller, but I'm like, I don't know about that one. You have to have a good Russian accent, and you know, you got to be built like Ovi and whatnot. But I'm trying to think of a guy that has a really good Russian accent and is, you know, somewhat.
They're actors; they can come up with accents pretty easily.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. You know, there is an up and coming actor, possibly, you know, if he chooses to do so. Alex Zappa is a possibility. I think, and I hit that. I don't mean it in jest. I think Zaps would be a hell of a guy to be Ovi. You know, he can handle the accent. He can do it. But there was somebody else, and I can't think of it right now. But I'm kind of going through some of these guys in my head, and I keep falling on Miles Teller for some reason. You know what? Screw it. I'll just go Miles Teller. I think he'd be very good as Ovi. I think, you know, obviously they have to like make him actually look like Ovi himself. There's a couple. Yeah, there's a guy that I think that would be very good at it, but I'm kind of wishy-washy on it. And there's some guys that can pull off a Russian accent and whatnot, and you know, as long as they do the bands make a dance, as long as they do that, if they hire somebody to be Ovi, make sure you got that in the series and/or movie biopic or whatever. So I'll go Miles Teller. Voldy, who do you got?
You know what? When thinking about who should play Alex Ovechkin, one name did come to mind, and I've just been looking up some of the tail of the tape, if you will. But if anything, acting is about developing and making the character your own. In this case, I could see, and I don't know if he can skate or not, but he's going to have to learn. What about Timothy Chalamet? Just saying, he's, you know, young enough, good-looking cat. He could probably pull off a Russian accent if he needed to. Can he skate? I don't know. He's going to have to put on a little bit of muscle, maybe put on a little bit, because he's a scrawny guy. He is 5'10", but still could probably put on, you know, just a little bit of some, start drinking some Coors Heavies as opposed to Coors Lights to, at least get into fighting shape there. But that could be a good one. Cillian Murphy was another name that came up, but probably he's too old at this point to play. But certainly can play a bad guy pretty well. But Ovi's not a bad guy. But I'll go with Timothy Chalamet, I think, just because he's a hot name right now, and he could definitely make that role his own. I think even Ovi would get a kick out of it too.
Have you ever heard of Alexander Skarsgård?
Yes.
I think that's the guy that I was talking. I think he'd be perfect.
Which one is he of the
He is in. He played the Legend of Tarzan or something like that.
Yes, thank you.
He was in Godzilla as well, one of the Godzilla films. I think he'd be perfect because I was just like, God, I had it, and then I just had to look it up, and I think that,
even Bill Skarsgård would be a good one too.
That's another.
I don't know if that's his brother or there's so many Skarsgårds. I think one of them's their dad or whatever, and something like that. But yeah, one of those two.
I think AI is off. When I did the search, they had a Dave Bautista and Joe Manganiello.
Joe Manganiello?
Manganiello, yeah, Manganiello.
Yeah. Pittsburgh guy.
I don't see Dave Bautista trying to pull off a Russian accent. I don't see that. That'd be tough for him. Shout out to Bautista, though. Yeah, I think that's good. Skarsgård, Teller, Chalamet. He's got to bulk up if it's going to be Timothée Chalamet.
He could figure it out.
He can. I'm sure he could. So there is steroids around. So
Steroids great.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I love Timothée Chalamet. He's very good. Great job with ARA this week, Voldy. A lot of good ones, and we got some Shield shoutouts to get to. A lot of big Shield shoutouts after a big weekend for the Shield, and the breaking news today as well, considering one former Patriots player. So let's get it going. Let's some Shield shoutouts.
Shield shoutouts.
All right, Shield, who ya shouting out tonight?
Well, do have to send a kind Shield shout out to Eric and Holly Olsum for the tickets that we got to enjoy with them to the Twins game this past Saturday. Unfortunately, they did lose that game against the Detroit Tigers, but in the process of all that, did get to take and meet some Hall of Famers. Of course, got a photo with the 1965 AL champion Twins, which included Jim Cott, Jim Perry, and Tony Oliva himself. But also did get a chance to run into Twins Hall of Famer, and one of the first Twins I remember growing up, Corey Koski. Got to see him as well. Made it all well worth the trip. Of course, scored some fresh gear as well, the City Connect gear on top of it. Made it all well worth a trip down to the cities and kind of a start to the end of the summer there on that past weekend. And also signing a one-day contract to retire as a member of the New England Patriots. Rob Gronkowski retiring as a Patriot, welcoming home into Patriots place. Regarded as one of the greatest tight ends of all time, and no one can tell me any different because I believe so, is a four-time Super Bowl champion, 3 with the New England Patriots, 1 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in his stint down in South Florida. And that is going to do it for Shield shoutouts this week.
Shield shoutouts, well done, well said. It looked like a great time at the Twins game, even though the Twins lost and even though the pohlads are very inept as owners. Looked like a great time. So I'm glad you guys got to experience that, and congrats to Gronk. I mean, it was only a matter of time before that was going to happen, and yeah, he's definitely up there. He's definitely up there as one of the greatest in NFL history. So let's see who has a problem with that. Maybe Tommy Fitterer. We'll see. No, I'm just kidding. He's more the Edelman. He's more the Edelman, like, nah.
He's an Edelman hater. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Anyway, great job with Shield shoutouts as always. Voldy, we have our fantasy football set. DJ Vold is going to be joining the Listener League. But people are like, Matty C, why do you call it the Listener League? This isn't radio. It's video and stuff. It's like, guys, do you want to call it the Viewer League? Like, it sounds weird. Yeah. I like Listener League. It sounds sweet. I don't know. It works. It works. So, congratulations, DJ. We will add him and get a date set. And speaking of that, pick 'em. It's free, baby. It's free. Make sure you guys get signed in. We can get you taken care of. We've got plenty of merch that we can give away, and Voldy and I have already been talking about potential giveaways for those weeks as well, and we'll keep you up to date on that. And speaking of merch, Voldy, I don't know if you have those things by you. If you do not, that is okay, because, you know, we kind of know what they are and whatnot. But Voldy, what do we got for hats? What do you got?
We got hats. We got lots of hats here. Let's start off Got the Hunter Orange. Never too early to get ready for hunting season. I know a lot of people are getting ready for that. Got the neon green right here. One of my personal favorites. Wish I could take one for myself, but I want the zoners to get their first crack at it. We got our limited edition 5th anniversary hats. That's right. We got them in gray with black. We got it with the gray with white. Gold on there. These are only $5 a piece. 5 total, I should say. They cost more than $5.
Awesome.
Our final and last MinneZona Sports Live Adidas collab hat. That is still out there for you to grab home as well. But of course, if you want to keep it simple, you want to keep it original, we got the Digi Camo in the red. We got the American flag hat, just like Matt's got on right now. And of course, we can't forget we are not too far away from Mother Nature being less bipolar and being more chill. Get yourself a nice winter hat as well. Get that ready because we all know once it turns September, it's 50-50, whether it's going to be 50 degrees above zero, 50 degrees below zero. Yeah. Who knows? I don't know. Never hurts to be prepared. Got plenty of hats. $20, $5 shipping. But if maybe you live around the St. Cloud area, can cut down on that $5 shipping as well. Maybe we can meet up, or I don't know. Either way, we want you to be representing the brand as much as possible.
We are working on getting carrier pigeons, FYI. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Obviously, but make sure you check that out. We got plenty of other stuff too. The 5-year anniversary shorts, Voldy, I know you have them on right now, but check those babies out. Yes, sir. Yes, I got mine, and let me tell you, they are comfortable. If you guys are interested and still want those, we could maybe do another order. Just saying. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. You could definitely do that. We can get you set up and get that going for you. So we got the tumblers. We got the quarter zips. I have some quarter zips left, I think. I think you do too, Voldy, if I'm not mistaken.
I do as well. I've got a couple limited edition single items as well, too. So maybe those will find their way into some giveaways this year.
Hell yeah, as Chris Farley once said. So, we got the merch. Thank you to National Fleet Graphic, Crown Ensor, Tyler Knutson for the stickers, all that whole deal. Make sure you check out W2 Performance, Will Rattel at www.w2performance.com. Make sure you check out the Brotherly Ballers podcast, Tyler Hermann, Jack Vickers. They're going to be getting started up as well. Shout out to TLS Performance, our guy, Troy Stottmeyer Jr. doing his thing over in Texas. And shout out to PBL, the Popcorn Bucket List, Nick Dahlhoff, and Ryne Myhrberg, Omni Entertainment. Make sure you check out everything that they got, all the content, and the latest movies coming out as well. So, with that being said, that's going to do it for episode 249. Voldy, next week is episode 250. Yes,
Holy
sir.
cat.
Yeah,
wow.
It's...
Oh, my God.
Yes, Chris Farley. Oh, my God. I think it's a good time for a giveaway that day, wouldn't you say, Voldy? What do you say?
So. I would 100% agree with that statement, sir.
As Anthony Edwards once famously said,
probably 20 years. Bring your ass.
Bring your ass. Bring your ass. So, looking forward to 250 next week. That'll probably be our NFC North roundtable. We work on getting our guys, Mitch, Braden, and not intern guy this time, hopefully. Work on Coom. Coom hasn't been on. We got to get Coom on, so we'll get that going. Or Mets, for that matter. So anyway, that's going to do it for episode 249. And always, remember, folks, keep in the zone.
Holla.
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Live. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for live show broadcast. And as Voldy likes to say, follow us on all the socials medias.